What is that it factor? I mean, you can look at it in all kinds of different professions.
20-yard pass completion from Rattler to Noah Lincecum for a Pioneers touchdown.
What I say his attribute is just arm talent and accuracy, and combined with very good athletic ability. People just love the way he throws the ball. How many guys are that guy? How many guys want the ball with the last minute? And those are the guys. Those are the guys. And the guys that consistently come through, those are the guys that have the it factor. Not too scared of the moment.
I'm Spencer Rattler. I'm a sophomore at Pinnacle High School.
Rattler, standout basketball player, is a two-guard for the Pioneers. With time again, and now escapes the pocket.
Spencer Rattler is the epitome of the elite student athlete.
Touchdown!
Whose hands do you want the ball to be in at the end of the game? He's the guy that's going to make that play.
What people don't know about Spencer, he's a better person than either football or basketball player.
The funny thing about Spencer is he's always wanted to be the last second shot. He thrives with situations like that. I flash back to preschool, he wouldn't even raise his hand. He wouldn't talk. But in sports, he wanted to be the man up with 2 outs and the bases were loaded. We never had to coach him up to handle that situation. It's internal in him. He does not get rattled. He remains calm in those situations, which we have been always amazed and proud of, and enjoys it. He actually wants it.
My dad would always say, big-time players step up in big-time games, and I guess I'm just one of those guys.
He never wanted to be a quarterback. He wanted to be a wide receiver because he liked catching the football. And so I would tell him, well, who's going to throw you the football if you're the only one that can throw the football? So he ended up playing quarterback by default. I wanted him to play all the sports, so he did. And every season he would switch so he wouldn't get burned out on a particular sport.
Playing all those sports helped me in my confidence a lot in everything I do. Competitively, I started playing football when I was 11 or 12 on the Firebirds. That's the best competitive team in Arizona for football. And then around 13, 14, I started playing club basketball with the Arizona Aces, and that's when I got real serious with both sports. My favorite memory was when I went to Florida. Me and my dad went up to Florida for a national championship tournament for our football team, the Firebirds. And it was like a week-long tournament. We played teams from Florida, Maryland, places like that. When I was about 13 with the Firebirds, I really started to get some looks. And then when I was about 14 or 15, colleges, started talking to my quarterback coach just about, me and stuff. So that's a blessing for sure.
What I've told coaches when I saw him, I'm like, he was doing that in 6th grade, 7th grade. He was carrying his team and making plays and doing things. It's not going to change. That's how he's wired.
ASU actually called Coach Giovando, and they offered me before UCLA, right before. So, and then an hour after UCLA called, and then I called them and they offered me. So I had ASU and UCLA were my first 2 offers in about 2 hours right after my freshman year. I'd say that was like the best day of my life, probably getting my first offers from big-time schools like that. I came home from, I think I was at basketball practice, and I came home and Coach Gio texted me and said, I need you to call this coach. So I called him, and I didn't really expect it. And they said, I think I was laying down in bed watching TV or something, and they're like, oh, this, that, we're going to offer you. And I was like, oh, thank you so much, the usual. And then an hour later, Coach Gio calls me and said, I need you to call Coach Mazzoni over at UCLA. So I call him, and he offers me. And so it was just back-to-back like that, and I was really happy. Right now, I have 11 D1 offers from a bunch of different schools, so it's a true blessing for that.
I can't even state how excited we are for him, in the same respect of trying to remain humble through the situation of handling it. It's a lot of excitement, but also a lot of goal-oriented situations to handle. So it just lets him know these have offered you, and that to remain humble with it, but to know that this is just more to come.
Notre Dame just sends out cool stuff like that. Here's all my recruiting mail. Michigan State, Oregon's, Florida State's, a bunch of Washington stuff. Got like 20 things from North Carolina.
The goals have to stay as is, character standards have to stay as is, and to handle the pressure of it all, and to keep performing, and to keep being a great teammate.
People will ask me, how's it going and how do you handle it and all this stuff. And it really hasn't been that bad of a thing for me. I'm not the one who's going through it. I mean, really, I feel like he is. And the good thing is he's handled it very well.
Auburn, Florida State, big time programs right there.
It hasn't gone to his head in any way.
And I think this is my first invite to the opening from freshman year, which usually juniors get invited to, but freshman year I got invited to that, which was cool. And then this was like my first thing I ever got from ASU. That's pretty neat.
The way that we've helped him through this is to just try to keep him grounded, let him know that the most important things are, you know, school, his grades, his friends, his family. When he got his first offer from Arizona State, from Coach Mike Norvell, he gave us some good advice. He said, listen, you know, nothing changes for you. Keep playing basketball, keep having fun with your friends. He said the biggest mistake players make is getting caught up in the recruiting process. Luckily, we've taken those words to heart. I want him to continue to do what he's always done, even when he becomes a senior.
Well, my first ever high school game for football was against Chandler. And they were the best team in the state, hands down. They had N'Keal Harry, who's a beast at ASU right now. He'll go to the league in a couple years. Chase Lucas, a bunch of D1 guys. That was my first game as a freshman, 14 years old. So, 15. That was a tough game, but you know, it taught me a lot about who I am and how to play the game on that level, on varsity.
It was definitely not the plan to start a freshman against the then defending state champs, and really he's the best guy that we had. You know, I had a conversation with Dad, and I just said, hey, we need to do this. We'll protect him. We're going to try to take care of him. Watching his demeanor, I'm sure he was nervous. I'm sure he had some butterflies, but the thing that's so amazing about him is he doesn't show it. He is cool. He came out and didn't play particularly well to start that game, but you saw he didn't get down. He just kept working and kept getting after it, and I think he was, you know, a little overwhelmed at first with the speed of the game, but you saw him get better as that game went on.
My freshman year, we ended at 500 against Brophy. That was the first playoff game. I threw for like 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, and we went into triple overtime. Lost by 1, so that was the biggest game my freshman year. Sophomore year, of course, the biggest game was the Basha game on ESPN. I got MVP of the game, and I'd say that was my favorite game of my high school career so far.
Spencer Rattler and he have hooked up a few times.
I actually played in that game with a broken hand on my throwing hand. For the first 5 or 6 games during the season, my hand was still broke because I broke it before the season. Goofed around in practice doing a dumb thing, and I'll never do it again. But so I played with a broken hand in those first 5, 6 games. I was throwing with a glove on, so I wasn't even 100%. But
and Rattler himself couldn't believe that sequence.
I just went to a doctor up at Mayo, got a little brace on it, protected, threw with a glove on because it was a little easier.
We were really struggling with, hey, is this the right thing to do? We were working with the team physician, but we wanted to make sure that, you know, the risks were minimal.
They went 2 back instead of just a single back formation. Under, threw it to Red.
I knew it would take acts of Congress to keep that kid off the field because that's just the kind of competitor he is. One of the top few when it comes to, you know, mental toughness on top of, you know, all the attributes he has as an athlete.
Time winding down in a
I went out there, I was all ready to go, took some Advil, got the pain away, so got out there, I had 3 touchdowns, I ran a touchdown, a long touchdown, and a stiff arm the kid, and that was pretty cool.
It was his first game of the year, and you just see him rise to the occasion, and I think that really is inside of him. In those clutch moments, he's going to step up his game and step up his level. He's got that inside stuff. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't a fluke, it wasn't, you know, luck. It's who he is. We'd love to take credit as coaches, but you can't take credit for it. It's just something he is, you know, born with.
Buys some time, and then set from
I think one of the things that he really, you know, shares and it's infectious is the way he carries himself. I think that spreads to the rest of the team, that confidence.
49-41.
I just wanted to go out there and win and beat him, and that's what we did.
The thing that gets lost in all this is the fact that He is a 4.0 student. His parents, he's got an incredible home life, great family. He's got a very good social life. He's well-grounded in terms of the balance in his life. And I think that's the thing that you say. It's just somebody looks at Spencer. Spencer Rattler is the epitome of the elite student athlete.
My parents always taught me, have a level head, even with as much success as you have. Just keep a level head, keep working, because you're not there yet. And that's what I'm really trying to do. I feel like two-sport athletes are the best athletes. You could always risk it playing another sport and getting injured, but why not just strengthen all types of muscles in your body and keep playing what you like to do? Actually, college coaches prefer athletes playing any sports. I enjoy playing both, too. I have since I was young, so that's a big part of it, too. I just like both of them. It's fun, it's high intensity. I like scoring a lot. I started playing when I was young, and I just stuck with it. It also helps me in football with the footwork.
What Spencer brings to our team is really an ability to score many different ways. So he takes kind of pressures off our other great players. What he can do is get to the basket and score. He can shoot it. He's such a threat offensively that he opens the court up a little bit more. So last year when he was injured, we still won games without him, but we played a little differently. When he's there, it just makes the game easier for everybody else. The other thing Spencer does, he wants to defend the best player on the other team every game. He has such a competitive nature about him. In every practice, no matter what the drill is, if you put points to it, he's all out. He's going to give everything he has to win that drill. And when you're doing that with talented kids, it makes everybody on your team better.
Coach Wild, he's a real nice guy. He'll get on you anytime, though. He's real strict on the little things. He'll talk about fundamentals in the sport and all that. He knows everything about basketball. It's good to have a coach like that. I like Coach a lot, and he teaches me the right things about the game.
Nice job, okay? That's sending a little bit of a message. He does whatever he has to do, shows up for charities, helps other kids, is nice to our managers, works in the classroom. Some kids nowadays, with social media, with being ranked very high in all the different websites and rankings that they have, ESPN and any other rivals. And Spencer is a kid who it does not go to his head. One, his parents won't let it go to his head. Two, he's a normal, everyday 16-year-old kid that you would like to have around your family all the time, who laughs more than he does anything else, and he enjoys competing. So that's what people don't know about Spencer. He's a better person than either football or basketball player.
My family, real tight. We're all close. My sister, Olivia, she's 14. She plays volleyball, big-time volleyball player. She'll be going to Pinnacle next year. My dad, cool guy, teaches me a lot, real strict, which is good. My mom is a teacher over at Fireside Elementary. She real nice.
We like to be together always, that we have the chance with the multi-sports now with Olivia and her schedule and Spencer and his. Sometimes we're more divided on the weekends than we like to be, but we always come together for dinner. Every weekday we're together for dinner, whether it's 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night. We want to sit down together and talk about our week, talk about our day. When he was in preschool, he ended up on an NYS team, the all-girls soccer team. It just ended up that way because both boys and girls could play at that time. It wasn't his favorite sport, lots of running involved.
He was the only boy on the team, and he was not the best player on that team.
Then T-ball started, Parks and Recs. We would get him into the sports teams there. And then NYS, when Mike was coaching him with football with his friend Mark, that was in first grade, spring.
I realized he was going to be a good player even back then.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I would be at every practice, every game as well, and Olivia.
He still has a lot of friends from those early teams. And that's what's fun for me is seeing these kids on all these different high school teams that we've played with.
That is what I love, is just the enjoyment that other people have in it. And now my students, my second grade students, have that passion for the sport. They'll come watch and play, and it's inspiring other children to play. And that's what it's about to me. Spencer finds us in the stands, whether it's at the football games and basketball games. I love that moment. I love to see the smile look up at us and the wink, and that makes my day. I'm hoping in the future at the college games, he'll know where to find us as well.
My goals before the end of high school is to get a state championship in football and basketball. In football, I really want to get National Gatorade Player of the Year and Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year. I want to end up being ranked #1 in the country on ESPN. Right now I'm ranked #2 in the country on Rivals, which is the big time, underclassmen ranking system. And then in basketball, I just want to, keep succeeding in that and maybe get a couple offers in basketball.
But you got some God-given talent. Now you take that talent and then you're out here still grinding and working to try and even get better. Don't just rest on that talent, and that it thing you have. Keep working.
My goals for playing quarterback is to just, keep getting better, keep getting stronger in the areas I need to get better in. Footwork, all those little things. Just keep getting my game, to the level I need it to be at. I have 2 more years to probably commit and then just be as ready as I can before I commit and go to college.